Hey ho! It's Monday, and this is Bowls.tv. Hey, it's BOLES.tv, Bowls.television, Monday through Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday, right here, live, high noon Eastern. And we would have been on the air 5 minutes ago if I had remembered to click the Go On Air button. In OBS, you click Start Streaming, and then I have it set up, are you sure you want to start streaming? And if you don't click the second one, you don't start streaming. All the others we've been using for the past year to go live, you click a button and you go. And I like the OBS saying, are you sure you want to end your stream? Because sometimes you hit the wrong button, especially when you get old and you can't see and you don't have your glasses on and it's a very tiny print. And so I said, yeah. 5 minutes late. Wait a minute, I'm not streaming? I was trying to set up Apple TV so I can see if I'm there. Am I working? Is it there? It was not available because I didn't click the button. So it's a little crazy out there today. But it is a Monday, and we've had very strange weather, especially here on the east coast of these United States. Really nasty. In that it's humid, and it was getting cold, and now it's hot, humid for 3 days in a row, 70 degrees. Starting a little bit on Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday, and now today, I guess this is day 4. 76 degrees, sunny skies. Weird. And then tomorrow is going to be 55. So we're going to lose, 20, 25 points in temperature tomorrow. It's very strange, especially when you're trying to figure out where to go from here. So you put on your short sleeve shirt, the old DB logo. Hey, and you get on going and you get on out of there because we got to figure things out here on Bowls.tv. So many weird things going on over the weekend. I feel like all of social media is crashing. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, even the alternatives, Tribal Social, Mastodon, they're melting because people are trying to figure out where to go when they leave Twitter. But before we get into that, I want to share this with you. This is my new trail, not trail mix, but trail something band. I call it a strap for my new Apple Watch Ultra. And it's Velcro and very thin and super soft compared to what had come before. I'm not a fan of the orange, but if you see this, orange is the new thing. I was going to say black, but that's ridiculous. That's been used before. So everything's orange on the Ultra because I guess that's the color of adventure and fun. I didn't get the memo. But this is the original band that came with my Apple Watch Ultra. This is the Arctic band or Arctic White band something. It's sort of thickish rubber. Ingeniously designed, but thick. Thin, fast, smooth. And what I like about this is as you're doing things, if you're exercising, if it's hot, cold, you eat too much, you don't eat enough, you can just, rip it and reset it. So you can make it larger or smaller based on whatever you're doing. This one, if you want to make it larger or smaller based on what you're doing, it's maybe going to be tighter and maybe it's not going to be looser. It sort of depends on how the rubber feels. So we ordered this one, and Jen has the gray version of this one, because to wait for the watches ship with a band when you purchase them. So this band was sort of immediately available, probably because it's big. I would have preferred the black one or the blue one, the dark blue, but that was not available. I just wanted to get the watch. I didn't care about the band at the time. And then you order this separately, but this one was ready to go. like 6 weeks after we got the watch. So do you want to wait 6 weeks for your watch, or do you want to get your watch immediately, sort of, and then get a better band 6 weeks later? Well, that's what we did. We just got this, which is fine. Probably never use it again, because now we have the band that we like and we want. So it's very clever for Apple to say, "Oh, you want the good band? You got to wait till first, second week of November." And Jana got hers a week before I got mine, so there was a little bit of jealousy going on. And then she saw mine and she liked mine better, and she said, "Well, we could switch. We could, yeah. One day I'll wear your band and then you wear my band." Now, in the old days of the old watches, she has 25 bands. I had 2. And this idea of band sharing, even though we had exactly the same size watch, was never brought up. I didn't bring it up, and she didn't bring it up. But now, when I have the band that she wants, now suddenly we should be sharing. We'll see what happens. So also over the weekend, the Huskers lost again. And it's going to be a dreadful week because this Saturday they're playing Michigan. And Michigan is what, the second-ranked team in the nation? And the Huskers are an underdog, I think, by 26 points. They're going to lose, I think, more than that, because their quarterback's injured and the backup quarterbacks are terrible. And then the week after that is Wisconsin, not having a great year, but they are a much greater team than the Huskers, I'm afraid to say. And then they finish out with Iowa, Thanksgiving, Thursday, Friday game, and Iowa will crush them. Iowa is a big, mean, well-coached team, and Nebraska is the opposite of all of that. And it's hard to say. But we're going to have a new coach, probably, next year. I don't think Mickey Joseph will stay because he's not winning the games. So we'll see if there's an upgrade next year. They say it'll take a minimum of 2 years to maybe get into playing shape, so it's like we're starting all over. We've been starting all over for the past 25 years with no proper, acceptable end in sight. So here's another thing we did over the weekend. We had a delicious sample of this. Look out, friend. Oh, look out, dear friend. This is Trader Joe's 20 and 22 Vintage Special Ale. Now, I thought this was new, but over the weekend, my Microsoft OneDrive memories popped up this exact same bottle from 6, 7, 8 years ago. Not from 20 and 22. So we must have enjoyed this previously when we thought we were getting something new. Now, at first when I saw this, I thought, oh, isn't that nice? It's like a non-alcoholic ale that's spiced in the idea of like a spiced rum, not that a spicy hot pepper or anything like that. And it was so fun that we just drank it right out of the bottle when we got here. Didn't chill it, didn't serve it with anything. We just poured it and ran. I can say pretty good. And it does have a lot of alcohol. Now, speaking of alcohol, and Trader Joe. We also got this. Rosemary's Baby. This is a Halloween brew. Very strong, lots of alcohol from Trader Joe. Scary good. Pumpkin ale. Didn't taste a lot like pumpkin to me. But boy, it will knock you into a baby carriage, I'll tell you that right now. Highly recommended. This is the fun of Trader Joe. They always have something fun going on, and it's alcoholic. If it's alcohol-based, even better. Who wouldn't want that kind of fun? Now, in the past, I have shared with you my ongoing feud with Instagram. And a little bit of DLive, but this Instagram thing, though, is really starting to not wear me down, but rile me up, wind me up, I guess is the street term. Don't wind me up. Somebody tells you that, you know what that means. Stop talking, back away, and say goodbye. And it's concerned me so much that I'm writing an article about it right now. And what's happened so far is on October 17th, Instagram said, you have violated our community standards and we're blocking your account. If you want to try to get your account back, do this, 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 and this. And this, and this were ridiculous things. A photograph of yourself, holding a PIN code that we send you, proof that you own the bowlesbooks.com domain, and on and on. And I thought, oh, that's painful. But I did it all, sent it all in, and absolutely nothing. A couple of days later, I got an email saying, the documentation you sent us is not acceptable. And I said, okay, so, well, what do you want me to do about it? And there was no response. And there has been no response ever since. And here's the real kick in the face. I discovered from a friend that not only has Instagram blocked my Bowles Books account, but they also took down my holder account for bowlesbells.com. And Bowles Bells was a private Instagram account, didn't really have any content there, because I was holding it in case I wanted to use it for some kettlebell stuff. And I wanted to reserve the name because sometimes when new domain names are registered, there are bad actors out there on the internet who watch those domains and go on social media and reserve all those names of domains they see so they can, try to sell it to you or come after you. So I had it, and I haven't published anything on it. I'm getting hotboxed by my neighbor, by the way. Oh. I thought it was a 9 o'clock thing, but I guess it's an all-day thing. You just can't get rid of the smell once they start on you. So I checked the Bowles Books account, dead. Checked the Bowles Bells account, dead too, which really upset me because, yeah, they're both mine, but I didn't violate any community standards on the Bowles Bells account. Or is the Instagram procedure to ban the person and not ban the individual accounts? I mean, there's just, if you have 10 accounts because you have violated community standards, you have all of them shut down. I guess that's what they do. I didn't know that, and they never explained to me. They never sent to me a message saying that Bowles Bells has been taken down as well. Mr. Gordon says, I don't understand how it's possible that your neighbor really has nowhere else to go to enjoy their smoking. Sorry you have to suffer because of them. Thank you very much. It does make me cough because I have an allergy to the Mary Jane, the pot, the ditchweed. And it's very prevalent, and it makes me cough and not be able to breathe. And sometimes I spray our Lysol disinfectant to get rid of the terrible smell, and then I start choking on the Lysol disinfectant. And it's difficult because this is a no-smoking building. If you smoke a cigarette in this building and you get caught, you can't smoke anywhere in your apartment. You may not smoke. You are thrown out. In one day, you're out. And they've done it. And then, over the past year or so, marijuana has become legalized. And they say you cannot smoke or vape in your apartment. But then people get a doctor's note saying, I have a medical condition that requires me to hotbox all of my neighbors. And it appears they get away with it. You complain, they make a note of it, and nothing ever happens. And then, off the record, you speak to your friend and you say, hey, Sam, what's going on with the pot smoking? Well, if it were cigarettes, they'd be out. Oh, yes, we'd get rid of them tomorrow. But the pot, well, medical exemptions. Oh. Gordon says, my friend Joe had a very clever device that would remove all smoke smells from a room without adding an unpleasant other smell. It's more of a neutral smell that is left in the room. I've seen people, especially around this area, who buy what I'll call boy in the bubble tents. And you go in there and it has some kind of device hooked to it, and you smoke in your plastic bubble, and it all gets filtered and cleaned because it's in a closed space, I guess, and you get your nicotine hit that way. See, people really try to open the windows, and the windows here open 6 inches, no longer, no wider. They move this way, not up and down, because someone dropped their tape measure one day out a window during construction and killed somebody on the street when they were struck in the head. So now all tall high-rise buildings cannot have windows that open more than, I think, is 4 inches. Not like you could throw a penny or something out the window and kill somebody. So people tend to go to their windows and smoke out the window and blow it out the window. But the problem is when you're in a high-rise, you have a lot of air that's swirling. So the smoke goes outside and up into your neighbor's window. Smoke rises. Not a lot of people know that. So if you're smoking 2-3 floors away from this floor or some other floor, your neighbor's going to smell it and probably report you. Gordon says, when we lived in Queens, the windows opened all the way, but it was a 1950s building. Yeah, it seems to be the rule in Jersey City is if it's a high-rise above a certain number of floors, the windows can't open more than that. I thought it was for child safety, but the super told me it's not child safety. It's death related, I guess. So with this Instagram thing, so I wrote to my Facebook contacts that I'm going to really detail in my article that I'm working on, and said, I did a lot of work for you guys for free with this NFT thing. I published articles, I did interviews, I wasn't paid for any of it. I did it because of my love for the mission and for the goodness of Facebook. And now these Instagram goons, and everything that Instagram sends you comes from the Facebook.com email account. It doesn't come from an Instagram account. So they're all in the same pool, petri dish, with each other. I said, could some of you tell them, look, I'm a verified Facebook user. I've done a lot of things. I didn't do anything that violated community standards. And go talk to them for me. That was a week ago. Absolutely nothing. Now, if I was replying about an NFT thing, or they're asking me a question, I reply, or I file a bug, they reply to me in an hour. But I ask them for help. Nothing. And then here's what showed up. As I will say, I guess that maybe this is the final slap in the face, or maybe this is the first slap in the face. This arrived on Saturday. Email from Instagram. Hey, here's a report. We send it to you every month. Here's how your accounts did last month. Well, last month I was cut off for 2 weeks. Here's your accounts. Oh gosh, look, you're down 33%. I wonder why. How many accounts you engaged. How many total followers you have. This, which is so ridiculous, was your most accounts engaged with this post, which is an NFT cat. And I should have clicked on the button, take a deeper look, but I know it would block me. And using Messenger and the business suite, why aren't you connecting your Instagram account? You used to. Reconnect it. There's no cross communication. There's no kindness there, and no response. And there are ways you can try to get around it, which I will discuss in my article. But not saying there's anything like a coincidence, and bringing up John Fetterman and his stroke when I wrote an article about John Fetterman, and 3 hours later he had a stroke. Look at this. The same day that I got that horrible, hey, here's your Instagram. You've lost people watching you because they cut me off. Oh, look, from the Wall Street Journal. Facebook parent Meta is preparing to notify employees of large-scale layoffs this week. Isn't that great? Couldn't happen to a better company. And I did find a delicious relevance in this. Oh, look, this looks weird. I have to fix this. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Meta is planning large-scale layoffs this week. According to people familiar with the matter, layoffs are expected to affect many thousands of employees. Oh, I hope they're all Instagram. And all the people on the Facebook NFT beta. Oh, don't say that. They'll cut you off Facebook too. Go ahead. I don't care. Not anymore. I do for you. You do nothing for me. I ask you for help. I help you. You do nothing for me. Layoffs are expected to affect many thousand employees with an announcement planned to come as soon as Wednesday. According to the People, Meta reported more than 87,000 employees at the end of September. Company officials already told employees to cancel non-essential travel beginning this week. Such wonderful feelings reading this article about how Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg, and really, I'm mad at Mark. It's his company. He's the one who sets the policy. And they won't tell you what you did wrong. They won't speak to you. You can't find a person. When they email you, they don't use a name. It's all anonymous. It's all under the table. And there are people on Reddit talking about it. I lost my Facebook account. What did I do? I did nothing. I'm trying to get it back. They won't help me. And people say, look, if they say your account has been disabled instead of suspended, disabled to them means you're never getting back your account. And people, I don't think, realize that on a whim, for no reason whatsoever, these companies can go in and take away what you have used and owned for years, and they don't care. So Meta maybe is in trouble. And this whole metaverse thing we've talked about repeatedly is just, I guess, a terrible bomb. And the recommendation is for people to stop doing it. The virtual reality platform has cost the company $15 billion since the beginning of last year. How are they going to get out of it? I get that a lot of people disagree with this investment, Mr. Zuckerberg told analysts on the company's earnings call last month. I think people are going to look back decades from now and talk about the importance of the work that was done there. Maybe. We'll see if Facebook is still around in a few years. So now we're going to take a little break. Let's see, coming up next. Oh, so many things to talk about. I think we'll go into AI and inherent bias. Oh, so many things. Fabulous. Makes sense. Returning in a moment. And we are back from break. I'm David Bowles. This is Bowles.tv. It's BOLES. Bowles.television, Monday through Friday and Saturday and Sunday here at high noon Eastern. So over the weekend, I had an interesting conversation early Sunday morning, which is usually never a good time to get into a heated conversation. It wasn't heated, but some people try to turn it into heat. Because once these things start, you really have to keep going, if you're right, because those people going against you, who are wrong, will keep going without you. So you always have to be there just to gently push back, if it's possible. Sometimes it's not possible. Sometimes you have to punch people. But now that I'm old, when it gets to the point of having to punch people, I just say, I'll be back. Bye. See ya. And never go back. So over the weekend, like early Saturday morning, like 3 a.m. Eastern, Midjourney, the AI bot that I currently use to create AI art for sharing on social media when I'm not banned, and for selling on OpenSea and Rarible. And the new version 4 is supposed to be better at rendering faces and eyes and personalities. And there are 4 versions. You can use 1, 2, 3, or 4. 4 is the latest. It's not as precise or as beautiful in resolution as version 3. And I've only been using Midjourney for about 3 or 4 weeks. 3 weeks. So I'm sort of, in my own mind, an expert with version 3. But version 4 is slightly different. Word order doesn't matter as much. You can use natural language, where you just, type, show me a cat on a mountaintop eating a bowl of cherries, and it will pop it up. You don't have to set things in a certain order like you did with version 3. So we're all sort of beta testing, really, version 4, but publicly. And people are coming up with some interesting things. And so I decided in part of my test that I was going to do a carnival series from, say, the 1980s, being specific because I'm, testing, exploring what's going on. And I hadn't done any of this with version 3, so this is totally new. Now that I'm going back and redoing things I did with version 3 and getting much more interesting results. But as I'm testing my Carnival Midway, I'm getting some very curious and interesting default results. Now, I'll show you some of the results right now. But this is going to eventually take us into a place that's going to be more curious. So the prompt has to do with a Polaroid photo, 1989, I think, Carnival Midway. This prompt is cheerleaders holding a teddy bear. So you can see there's a wide variety. The eyes are right. The faces are very beautiful. We have a variety of ethnicities, skin colors. I also did a little same thing, everything, same prompt, except the rubber lady from, like the House of the Bazaar. Now, I thought it was going to be a lady all kind of bent in different shapes. But this AI decided to make the rubber lady like a DM lady. Gordon says, I see you're having some of the same issues I have. Most of these are the teddy bears holding the young women and not the reverse. Yes, that's very true. It's very weird. So the rubber lady turned into women wearing sort of skimpy rubber outfits, like, some kind of dominatrix is what I'm trying to say. DM, whatever. However, the results, as you can see, are very interesting. Wide variety of ethnicities, different kinds of skin tones and skin colors. which I appreciate. Age, usually when you say, a woman wearing something, you get a very stereotypical one face of woman. Here is an older woman with fun glasses. Sometimes the woman is like a blow-up dolls thing, but it's not a doll thing. It's more like a puppet, I guess. This one's looking a little dominatrixy. Here's an Asian woman, I guess, wearing a rubber suit. Here's the teddy bear again. Sometimes holding the teddy bear, sometimes not holding the teddy bear. Here we are with the rubber suit woman again. And then because I'm trying to make this a series, so I go a little earlier, like the Carnival Barker, the Midway Barker. Now look at these. These are just wild. These are the rubber women. Oh yeah, and then I wanted a goth girl eating cotton candy. Now that was a big mistake because, as you can see, fingers do not render well at all. So if you have someone eating something, you're going to see their fingers. Big mistake. I tried to play with it, roll, re-roll. Sometimes I got 4 fingers or fingers hidden behind the cotton candy. This is still the rubber lady. I love this photograph with the red on the cheek. It looks so natural. And then so these are more of the goth girls eating their cotton candy, okay? I want a wide variety of people. And I started this whole thing with the Carnival Barker on the Carnival Midway. And this is the early ones that I got. Strange guy, sometimes wearing a mask, very freaky, and sometimes no guy at all, just a Midway. Like the guy is the face of the kiosk. Sometimes it's just got weird stuff. But this is the fun of rolling all these AI images and seeing what comes out of the computer. Now here's where it gets really interesting, and this is what started the whole big argument online. And I was making an observation, and today you can't make an observation because DLive is going to ban you for being political. Instagram's going to cut you off. No one wants an observation. Everyone wants you just to shut up and be quiet and just post, pictures of cats, which I do most of the time. So I was doing prompts and just replacing Carnival Barker, goth girl, rubber lady, cheerleader with teddy bear. And then to try to give a little variety for young men, I thought, what about, thugs? That was the prompt. And as you may have seen, every single prompt that came back from version 4 of Midjourney had the thug prompt indicating black men. Every single prompt. Re-rolling, rolling, re-rolling, 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 re-rolling. When I did that with the cheerleaders, sometimes got an Asian, got a light-skinned black woman, Filipino maybe. Same thing with the rubber lady. Roll it again, roll it again, roll it. Okay, why? Age differences, different skin tones, different cultures, different races. Roll after roll after roll. For thug, I get back black men. And I found that really, curious and fascinating. Because in these other shots, the crowds are mostly white people. And in these shots with the thugs in the front, in the foreground, the crowd is black. Gordon says, I just did a Google image search for thugs hanging out and same sort of results. And that was the conversation that we had in the Midjourney forum, 5 a.m. Sunday morning. Here are the 4 role results. Now, none of these are real people. These are all artificial images created by the Midjourney bot version 4. So I was making the observation, it's really interesting that the AI thinks that a thug in 1989 on a carnival midway is a black man. And I was immediately attacked by people, I guess, one person who claimed to know, oh, no, that's what thugs are. Thugs are black men. What do you think's going on? Look at Tupac. He did a whole album called Thug Life. And another person said, oh, you don't understand how these things work. These AI bots go out and find millions and millions and millions of images, and most of them are pre-2019. So you can't blame Midjourney for just returning what's out there. And I said, I'm not blaming Midjourney for anything. I'm making an observation. If you want to have Asian thugs, put it in your prompt. You put down Asian thugs. You put down Filipino thugs, and you'll see you're going to get a different answer. I said, I didn't put down black thugs. I just put down thugs. And we're testing this. We're experimenting with this. And I find that after reroll, the only answer so far is young black men for thugs. And then this other person said, well, sometimes you have to use the slur. Sometimes you have to use the stereotype to get the result you want. I said, I wasn't going after any sort of stereotype. I was just going after the idea of thugs. Because to me, my Midwestern upbringing, a midway carnival thug is a guy in a leather jacket, a denim coat, smoking a cigarette. Probably white. Now, is that my prejudice, or is that the way it was? And then after reroll, and then I put this on the conversation as well that we're having on Discord, I finally got, right here, a thug roll, and maybe the devs were listening to this conversation because it went on for about an hour and a half. White faces in the thug pose. So I said, now, isn't that interesting that the AI, because I keep rolling, knows that I want something else, uses a different seed, uses a different way of perhaps presenting information. However, I said, what concerns me is that the default currently, and I know things change and evolve, is for thug to return a young black man. And then another person, I think was a moderator, who said, well, don't do a search on murderer or you're going to get back something you really don't like. Now, I didn't search for murderer because I know there are banned words. And to me, murderer would be a banned word. If you use banned words too often, you will be locked out of Midjourney forever because a lot of people try to create porn and gore, and I don't want that. They don't want that. I know you can't use the word blood, and you cannot use the word naked in a prompt because I've been punished for those. So I did not look up murderer on Midjourney because I really don't care. I don't want to know. And then I made the point that the interesting thing about this all is the AI presumption, the artificial intelligence presumption of what the AI thinks you want returned to you. And right now, the presumption, I guess, over the weekend on a Sunday morning in Midjourney AI version 4, the first presumption was that a thug from 1989 at a Midway Carnival is a group of young black men. And I said, I'm not blaming the Midjourney people because they're not indicating any bias on their end. The bias is on the collection, not the collector. So maybe things was, as people say, well, it's just reflecting the way it was. I said, well, reflecting the way it might have been, but not the way it should be now. This is not historical documentation. There are gatekeepers who decide in 2019 and before what should be published, what words should be associated with whatever image. And it seems the trend was that in 1989, a thug at a carnival was a black man. And it concerned me. And then another person kind of said, well, that's kind of interesting how history works. And then it gave me my great opportunity to share my most relevant argument about all of this. And that is historically, and this is a concern for historians, that people, regular people, ordinary people, are not fairly or accurately representative in history because their lives were not thought to be important enough to preserve and remember and reflect upon. And if you look generally at the history, the last 100 years, the last 3,000 years, what survives? What do we learn about? We learn about the kings of Egypt. We learn about their gold. We're excited by the discovery of another tomb with jewels in it. How did the poor people live? How did the slaves live? People, historians, not terribly interested in how regular people, poor people, lived and survived. We even have that problem in the 1950s. Oh, look at this elegant mansion. Look at all these pieces of furniture that we've preserved. We've made their house, their mansion, a museum. Come and enjoy all the fruits and the spectacles of 1930s and 1940s. Well, what about the people who also lived and worked in those houses as servants or slaves or employees? What happened to their life? How do I get an AI return in version 4 of Midjourney to reflect who they are and what they mean? And as a little test, I did a search using Depression-era photographer names, invoking poor children, 1930s depression. And let me show you the very first thing that popped up. As an AI result, this image, which is a famous image. I used a different photographer. I did not use this photographer's name, but that's what gets sent back. Because these faces, these images, were not routinely recorded. Now, famous people, rich people, 1930s, you're going to find a lot of pictures. You're going to find a lot of elegant homes, but you're going to find a lot of young, poor people in the Depression who are surviving. There was a cadre of 5, 6, 7, 8 photographers who went out there and tried to take these pictures. But it's very limited. And when the AI tries to give you something, there's not a lot of variety. It's these faces. And not one of them, in any of these searches I did, returned anything other than a poor white child. There were no blacks, no people of color, nothing else returned. Just tired, tiny, white faces. So where does that leave us? Oh, we think artificial intelligence is great. And I think that's, as one of the moderators in the Midjourney that said, you know, the pyramids of Egypt used to be covered in white limestone. And very beautiful. And that moderator was trying to get the AI to recreate how those pyramids looked based on information that it could pull from various different sources. And I said that is the magic and the beauty of AI, is to create things that were, but that we don't know about. So is it possible to find a 1930s poor, destitute person of color that is both realistic and also amplified based on what we knew then, but may not be recorded, and what we need to know now? So can AI recreate what wasn't there? Yeah. But is it an actual and truthful replication of what we need it to be today. And then I was still attacked by people. I said, look, history and AI do not live in a vacuum. And as an example I'll share with you now, that's sort of stark, but I think makes the point. Let's say you were to write a play about two gay men today, living today, right? And the whole story is how they have unprotected sex with thousands of different people. End of play. Because of how we live today, and what we've gone through as a nation, and what that community has gone through, you cannot write a gay sex story today about promiscuous men and not in some way mention AIDS and HIV, because the circumstances have changed. Now, in the 1950s, you could write that play. 1960s, you could write that play. But the 1980s and after, you cannot write that play, because there will be outrage and fury. And now some people will say, well, now you're going to do that, you got to talk about a little monkeypox. You got to throw that in there, because plays do not exist today in a vacuum. Gordon says that's true. And even there are gay plays from the 60s that are promiscuous, and they talk about sexual encounters, boys in the band, what happened after that. And they have problems today because the world has changed around them. And there are people who say, well, you can still produce those plays today because at the time that they were originally produced, they existed in a certain time and context. Whereas today, the context is different, but maybe you can appreciate it for some sort of historical record. So the historical record when it comes to AI is both true and distorted, because what you ask for may not be available, and what you get back may not be the truth. And that's why we have to discover things and talk about things. And as I said, when I kept re-rolling my 1989 Carnival Thugs on the Midway, and I kept getting back black men, until one time I got back a couple of white guys, and I put that on the forum. I said, hey, this is what happens. We learn as we roll. Technology teaches as it learns. And that's a good thing. And I did not, as I said, change my prompt, even though y'all told me to, because it had become a thing now. And that thing I wanted to explore merely on an educational basis to see if and when the algorithm would change. And it eventually did, which is a good thing for all of us, because that shows that nothing is cemented, nothing is immobile, nothing is really suspended in amber. There are ways to get out of it and to appreciate what we have. Gordon says default thug should not always mean the same thing. I agree. And I'm very certain that by now, if you go back into Midjourney version 4 and do a search like I did, a prompt, you're not going to get back image after image of young black men as thugs. And I think that's the right thing to do. There were people arguing with me that's not historically correct. And I'm saying AI does not always have to be about accuracy of what was, but to present the truth of what is. And now we're going to take a very brief break. When we come back, oh gosh, so many things to talk about. We'll talk about a little bit about what's going on in social media. Sort of a reflection of what we talked about a little bit earlier. or on the social media as Gordon emailed us something that we will check on when we return in a moment. And hey, we're back here on Boles TV, BOLES.TV, BOLES.television. And Gordon sent us an image. I blew it up. It was a little tiny, a little hard to see, of his thugs hanging out in a theme park via Pixray. So this is interesting. I guess they're wearing hoods. Is that what they're doing? It's hard to see a little bit what exactly is going on. But it's an interesting attempt. And I really wasn't trying to prove anything. I was just very surprised that, to me, a thug is not a black person. A thug is, in 1989, a cigarette-smoking guy from high school in the lily white Midwest. So it's definitely something to learn, something to think about as we step forward into this raw mess of what's been created for us around us. The Fonz, yeah, I guess he was what? That was a 1950s show. James Dean. Those are kind of thugs to me. But maybe that's, again, my prejudice, my limited awareness of the world, of what a thug is. West Side Story, thugs. But it's hard when you're dealing, and when we had this conversation, I answered pretty much everyone, and most people were sort of cool, but one kid came after me about the whole Thug Life Tupac thing, and you don't know anything about culture or history. Thugs are black people, and they're proud of it. It's a badge of honor. I mean, I just didn't know what to say about it because we're not talking about that. I'm not your teacher. You're using one little tiny thing to invalidate a whole conversation that we're having. It was very strange and disappointing. But hey, talking about strange and disappointing, the whole Elon Musk thing has also been blowing up all weekend. He's banning people. He thinks he's a comedian. And it's interesting that somebody commented, who is an Elon fan, commented in an Elon thread saying, look, would you people go a little bit easy on him? He has a lot of money, but he also very clearly, and you can see his behavior, and he's admitted it, he has Asperger's. He doesn't sense things well. He thinks he's being funny. He thinks he's making a point that is very awkward and uncomfortable and just weird. So please try to keep that in mind as you pile on him and call him a hypocrite, which is all deserved, but remember, it's coming from a person who admits that they are not perhaps disabled, but they have a condition and a situation. Now, other people said that doesn't excuse his terrible behavior. But I thought that was an interesting point. So Elon Musk, showing his thin skin, going forward, any Twitter handles engaging in impersonation without clearly specifying parody will be permanently suspended. Now, that's always been the policy of Twitter, but it seemed like that was no longer the policy, where Elon said, hey, this is free speech. Anything goes. Everything goes. We're, the new Comedy Central. You can say whatever you want to say. And then 2 days later, all of that's true, but it not about me. You can make fun of other people. You can, have free speech as much as you want, as long as you leave me, Elon Musk, out of it. This is not going to go well for him, because that only encourages people to keep beating him up and forcing him into boxes and foxholes and corners from which there is no escape. And this is, if he knew anything about Twitter, he knew all of these things that are now popping up are things that had already properly been solved. And now he wants people to pay for their check mark, which is going to be meaningless. And I guess that's, what he wants. I don't know. And here's another woman who is verified. And there's another account that's impersonating her. And she reported it and nothing happened. Another person, Mueller, she wrote. Another account that's impersonating that account, reported, doesn't say parody, nothing happens. So what are you going to do? You have a guy who's in charge of this, and he's favoring one side over the other. Now, another interesting thing that's going on in this social thing is you can see here, masthead.social. That's a new one. I don't know what that is. I got to go look that up. Oh, it's Mastodon. That's interesting. Masthead.social. All the news that's fit to toot. Now, a lot of these Twitter people are saying they're going over to Mastodon, which is a federated social place to hang out. Now, I went to Mastodon over the weekend just to see if I could figure it out. I guess most people are trying to go to mastodon.social, but it's closed. They're not accepting new people. And other people are saying it does just go join any Mastodon server because you can still talk to people. But it's very sticky. It's very wonky. So I went and I looked at the mastodon.art group. And I applied, and they haven't gotten back to me. But what's interesting about the .art is in their description, they say, look, we don't talk about anything crypto or anything NFT. I don't know if they talk about AI or not. But I thought that was a very disappointing and narrow way to think about online engagement. We'll talk about art, but not this kind of art and not that kind of art. Anything else goes, but not that. It's very Elon Musk-ish. So now I'm having second thoughts if that was the right place to try to go. Mastodon.art. But maybe this one is new. Masthead.social, which appears to be a Mastodon domain. 24,000 users, 5,000 are active. Try a mobile app, see what's happening, discover users. Gordon says, did a search for Mastodon in my email and found an old Bowls Blues review I wrote. Well, that's interesting. I'll have to go check that out. With an account on Masthead Social, you'll be able to follow people on any Mastodon server and beyond. Maybe I should apply for this too. Let me go to a different screen so I'm hiding stuff. Mastodon.art, no response. Mastodon, no, what is it? Masthead.social. Masthead.social. It's very confusing. And it's not going to go over well. Some people, I also signed up on Tribel, TRIBEL.social. It was okay. So let me sign up for this. So I'll do that. Now maybe they'll tell me I'm not allowed to anymore because I already applied. I don't know. We'll find out, I guess, right? But you got to get in line. And they also say that if you know somebody who is already part of Mastodon.social, then they can send you an invite and they can get you in that way. But I think the whole thing's weird. So we'll see if this allows me to sign up for Masthead.social when I already signed up for Mastodon.art. Well, this says it sent me a thing in the email to make sure I am who I say I am. So I guess that's good. I don't know. I guess we'll find out if it ever shows up. And I know a lot of these Mastodon servers are individually owned somehow, so you're supposed to like pay the person who owns the server, which sounds a lot like $8 for your check mark. And you're supposed to use exactly the same bio and exactly the same email address so everybody can find you. I was like, oh, come on now. And other people said, look, this is way too complicated for people to try to figure out. It's not going to work. Oh, I'm waiting. They're not letting me in. And I'm not sure why it doesn't matter what server you're on. I guess because they say you can follow whomever you like as long as they're on a Mastodon server. So if you're in a specific server, it doesn't matter because you'll be able to find them anyway, but then you have to import and export it. It sounds very, very complicated. And then there's also Blue Sky, which I guess is the new Jack Dorsey thing, competing with Twitter as Blue Sky. Gordon says, I think I used to have a Mastodon account, but they deleted my account for inactivity. Oh, that doesn't sound good. Well, so far I'm not getting anything. I don't think. Or am I? I get so much spam from people using my original Gmail address. It's just really become a problem. And I can't seem to get rid of them. So I don't think they're sending me anything. Maybe they're all messed up. So, okay. So maybe we'll go to Rose Blogs and do a search for Mastodon and see what we come up with. I don't think it's going to be what people think it's going to be. Which, of course, is going to be very unfortunate. Oh, I gotta fix that too. Oh, Instagram everywhere. Too much Instagram. Where's my search box? There it is, Mastodon. Mastodon, the Hunter Review. Many ways, discover new music, blogs. Sometimes I don't care. Oh. This looks like music. Funny, it's not about the social network. Okay. Funny. Crazy. Gordon says it's a bit like when people want Photoshop but free and discover GIMP and then realize how complicated it is and not so simple to use. Now that's very true and very interesting. And now you lead me into my very next little topic of discussion, which is this. I fired up Photoshop this weekend and I got this. Hey, welcome to Camera Raw 15.0. What? Now, what I don't like about this is when you import an image file from, say, your iPhone, it takes you to a special interaction screen in Photoshop that is, I guess, AI based. Now, if I want AI based, I will find it myself. I don't need Photoshop defaulting to it. And finally, I figured out that there's a hidden sort of button that you have to click on to clear it to go to your regular editing screen. But it takes you to this screen where AI-powered masking, you can select people. AI-powered masking, select objects. AI select background. Healing with content-aware remove. Adaptive presets for portraits. Curves and masking. So this is all AI. And I've heard about this from last week that Adobe was getting ready to AI all of their apps, which I thought was interesting, but slightly strange. So I guess what they want is for the AI to become part of Photoshop so you can do all of your manipulation and searches and inventions in their software and not on DALL-E or Midjourney or any of the others. Very weird. That does sound interesting, Gordon says. Hey, speaking of interesting, On Friday, we were trying to create Taylor Swift as a caricature in the Al Hirschfeld design formula. And this was the disaster that we ended up with on Night Cafe. And I have been blowing this up and making it bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'm going to keep doing it tomorrow when I get more credits. Because every time I evolve it into a bigger size, evolve it using more CPU, this started out with as Al Hirschfeld's face, and every time I click what I call update, evolve, I get a little more Taylor Swift. I get her face, I get her profile here, I get her eyes here. It's very weird. And the most interesting result I got back was when I went to Crayon, and I posted this on social media. Al Hirschfeld, Taylor Swift, everybody's name spelled properly. And it came back as an Al Hirschfeld caricature. It didn't really look like Taylor Swift, but the idea was right. That was very, very exciting. So I'm at 27 credits, so by tomorrow I can update this again and see what else kind of horror I get. Because this is really, I'm loving this. I think I even published this as an NFT on my Rarible site. We'll look at that in a moment. But that's just horrifying and so fantastic. Where does Taylor begin and Al Hirschfeld end? And yet, it's still a caricature. Hilarious. Now when we come back, we're going to do what I thought we'd do on Friday, but I ran out of time, and we're running out of time again today, and that is minting NFTs on Rarible. I'm now finally certified, or what do they call it? Verified on Rarible, on their website, and on their Discord server. And publishing NFTs on Rarible is very fast, cheap, efficient, and better than OpenSea. And I'll show you why when we return in a moment. I tell you, this is weird. Here we are, Bowles TV, BOLES.TV, back. Bowles Television, Monday through Friday, every day, high noon Eastern. Look, this is getting really strange with Elon Musk. I was going to share with you this whole Mastodon thing that he went on this morning, where he called it masturbate done. And he had a photograph that he had taken of his screen, his filthy laptop screen, showing Paul Krugman, who is a Pulitzer Prize winning author, economist, trying to set up his Mastodon account by forwarding his tweets to Mastodon. And he was making fun of it. This is the head guy at Twitter. So I was going to show it to you today, and just went to it, and on one computer, completely gone. The other computer, the page is still there, thank goodness. But as you can see right up here, this tweet is unavailable. Learn more. So Elon again did it. He deleted his offensive tweet. But this is what's left of the conversation. Now, if I hit refresh, this whole page disappears. So this is what he said. Gee, I wonder why the screen is so dirty. Talking about his own filthy, filthy screen. Now remember, he's disabled, abled, differently abled. He has Asperger's. He doesn't know what's funny and what's not funny, until he gets all this blowback from regular people who correct him. And then he deletes things. And another verified person responded to him 2 hours ago. So since we started this stream, he's deleted this whole, none of this exists on Twitter anymore. None of this needs to happen. You could just stop posting and let the site survive. Ooh. That's from Malfast. Find me on Instagram. So Benny Johnson shares a Kathy Griffin note, because Kathy Griffin has been banned from Twitter for impersonating Elon Musk. Gordon says, Molly is so right. Hoo boy, Elon just tweeted me on Maggie's Twitter account. I think Maggie is her mother, right? She's been on Twitter. He tweeted a joke that he stole from literally hundreds of other posters prior to him putting it out there. The bros are coming for me. She's irrelevant. I thought Carrot Top was dead. You know, the usual. Elon melting down on Twitter because of me and Valerie Bertinelli. And it was genius. They flipped the script on him, as they say. Both Kathy and Valerie and some other verified people changed their name to Elon Musk and then retweeted Democrats. Vote Democrat. And Elon got all mad and banned Kathy Griffin but let Valerie stay. Very interesting. I love Twitter. I bought a membership. Paul Krugman, worst take ever. So now these are all the Elon bros who are there. Pfizer, pay largest healthcare. Bro, you're a billionaire. Buy some Windex. I mean, it was a filthy, filthy, dirty screen. It was gross. Elon, for $8, I'll clean your screen. He can't take being made fun of. He wants to make fun of other people, but he himself can't take it when people make fun of him. There are like 4 or 5 levels of secondhand embarrassment in this tweet, but none quite as hilarious as you for not even knowing how to take a screenshot. And he didn't know how to take a screenshot. He had his laptop with the filthy screen, and he took a photograph of it and uploaded the photograph. He could have just taken a screenshot on his laptop and uploaded that, and everyone could see it because you couldn't see through the filth. And he's a tech guy. That's from Cable. Works at Panic. Wonderful company. They got some great stuff. Don't you actually have some work to do, or will you continue to use this site as your personal megaphone for your personal opinions? Big difference between comedy legal on Twitter and actually being funny. That's from Don. Oh, professor at Georgetown and an immigrant. This is good. Funny, wants to be funny, doesn't want to be funny, wants to be funny. Not funny, funny. Oh, see? So, Elon, are you going to buy Masturbate Done? Haha. That's what Elon, that was his joke. That Paul Krugman was trying to get on Masturbate Done instead of Mastodon. And if you looked at the screenshot, it was Mastodon. Shot of the screen, excuse me. Something went wrong, try reloading. So that's what we'll do. We've rested this whole thing. Okay, so I want to show it to you. I want to show you the original tweet. Here we go, retry, and sorry that tweet's been deleted. And if I go up here and just click refresh in my browser, hey, what's going to happen? Oh, all of that we just read together has been removed by Elon Musk. Hey, free speech forever and ever. Well, gosh, I want to do Rarible. I don't think I have time now because I'm not going to rush it. Because what I want to do is this. I want to create my Carnival Midway series on there, but I also have to set up a collection. And I haven't done that before, so I don't want to mess it up by being rushed for time because 2 o'clock I do have to go. So I do have other news to share, and this is one that I think is just fabulously terrific. From the city about New York. City jails move to digitize mail. And I think it's a genius idea. And the prisoners, of course, hate it. And they're trying to say, oh, I want the actual photographs that my girlfriend sent me. And I guess people would send drugs by saturating the paper that they were writing on. And they would send the letter to the inmate would get it and then I guess dissolve it in water or something and then resell it. So the prison system is now saying we'll take photographs of everything that's sent to you and we will have you look at the digital copy. And I guess if they need a printout, they can get a printout of the digital copy. It's very clever. The City Department of Correction recently revealed it is moving to a digitized mail and package delivery system meant to curb contraband. I mean, of course. Inmate advocates caution the switch will trample privacy rights, and that 2 other states that made similar changes have seen no decrease in overdoses or drug seizures. How does fentanyl get into our jails? Melina asked during the council hearing about the powerful synthetic opioid behind most overdose deaths in the last years. The short answer is most of it enters in letters and packages laced with fentanyl. Jail leaders say paper and other objects sent, including things like sneakers and according to the commissioner, are often soaked in fentanyl, Suboxone K2, or methamphetamines. Ugh. However, inmate advocates contend the main culprits are correction officers and jail staffers who smuggle drugs and other banned materials like knives. Well, that's true too. Digitizing is dehumanizing. They're trying this in Missouri. Jail officials banned physical mail in June to prevent drug smuggling. The department contracted with Texas-based company Securus Technology to scan pictures, letters, and magazines. But overdoses continue 4 months into the new program and have even upticked slightly, according to the report. Before the ban, an average of 31 people overdosed per month. That figure rose to 37 between July and September. I don't know how you're going to solve this, but I think digitizing is very smart. Veronica Vella, a supervising attorney for the New York Prisoners' Rights Project and the Legal Aid Society, called the DOC plan an expensive, cruel, intrusive response that burdens incarcerated persons with no demonstrable benefit except to profit the industry that makes these services. Very interesting. Now, we're not going to mint on Rarible, but I'll show you 2 things. First is this verified checkmark, which is very lovely, which I do not have on OpenSea. OpenSea, you have to sell an enormous amount of NFTs before they will verify you, which I never really understood, because if verification is about this is the person who says they are creating whatever you have that you want to buy, then be verified. So what that means is you have people who are trying to be honest and genuine selling on OpenSea, and they're not verified, trying to get verified, and people are either, impersonating their art, stealing their art, selling it under their name, and it gets taken down and people buy and they get mad at the artist who's not verified for not being verified. And it's a difficult situation. And OpenSea doesn't really care. My case, I have not been able to mint anything on OpenSea for now almost a week. And I've been talking to Darlene back and forth. I made a video, sent them the video. Darlene said, well, I don't know when they're going to get back to you on a fix, but I looked at your technical assigned person and there's been no update on your account. But if you have any questions, let me know. So I replied, thank you. I'm, trying on Rarible. And her reply to me was, hey, that's great. You're on Rarible. Good for you. And she works for OpenSea. That was shocking. So, about an hour later, I get an email from OpenSea saying, hey, how would you rate your technical support? Now, you only get that when your case has been closed. So I guess Darlene forwarded my problem of not being able to mint, do business on OpenSea. I have an open ticket with the tech people, and she closed my account. She closed my ticket. As far as I know, I'm still there. Who knows? And so I rated. I said I'm not satisfied, and this hasn't been solved. And I was congratulated on minting on Rarible instead of OpenSea, which is absolutely the truth. And I find it just ridiculous. So what do you do? What is going on in the world where you can't get a response from people? You can't find anyone on Instagram to reply to you? OpenSea's brushing you off? Well, you find alternatives. And one of them is Rarible, where you prove your identity, you tell them why you want to be verified, what the verification means, and on their Discord server. If you're verified on their website, you can be verified on their Discord server so people know that the person that they're talking to is a real, genuine person. And isn't that what the whole idea of being verified is? That's the problem Elon Musk has at Twitter. He just wants you to pay $8. And okay, yeah, I'll verify you. I'll give you the verify. I just want your money. And so the people who are going to be verified, they're not verified at all. And on Rarible, you're verified, but you have to prove who you are. So these are just a few of the things that I'm minting just for fun to see how all of this works. It's a very fast process. It's very impressive. And I really cannot wait to start the process of minting an actual collection on OpenSea. But maybe I will do it right now. Maybe I'll just put one up and see what happens. And these are all my NFTs. So you have an NFT wallet. So this is what you all see on OpenSea, and it's also on Rarible because it's your wallet. It's your content that travels with you. So maybe I will try to create something here if I can find how to do that. Create. And you can pick your blockchain. You can be on Solana. You can be on Tezos, Flow, Polygon. I like Ethereum. This is also great. Choose single or one-of-a-kind multiple if you want to sell more than one collectible multiple times. So multiple, if I want to sell 10 of one of my, or single. I want to highlight the uniqueness of one thing. I like one of ones. Choose a file. Hey, here we go. Now this is getting interesting. I have to pick a carnival I have like 53 to choose from. So I have to pick something that is of the moment and acceptable. Okay, we'll start with her. I like her. Or him, I don't know, but I think it's it's really one of the best AIs that I've ever seen. This is the rubber lady from the Carnival Midway. And people are looking at the camera. It's very unique. Okay, so fixed price. Price, I just go for 007, just because I'm stupid that way, and I think it's funny. Which is $100. Now, date of listing expiration on Rarible, it's 3 months. On OpenSea, it's 6 months. You can go up to 6 months. Unlock once purchased. I don't have any content to add. Choose a collection, the Rarible collection, or I can create a collection. Now, this is what I want to see if I can do. Create collection. At least 300 by 300 pixels, max, size, 5 megabytes. Choose file. I don't know if I have something that small. Token symbol. Oh, I don't know what that means. Description. Oh, this is a token collection. Okay, never mind. I'll just stay here on Rarible. Free minting. Buyer will pay gas and fees. Okay, name. Carnival Midway Rubber Lady. The description. This is an AI art, excuse me, collaboration between David Bowles and Midjourney. Yeah. Royalties. Big thing on OpenSea on royalties. We'll talk about that tomorrow, maybe. OpenSea says other places are not respecting their royalties, so they're not going to respect any other royalties. I go for 25%. That's a lot. Some are 10. A couple of them that I've been dealing with lately are 50%, which I find ridiculous. And now, this is how easy it is. Create item. And this is what's beautiful. This tells you every step of the way what is happening. On OpenSea, you just get, please wait. And sometimes it mints, sometimes it doesn't. So this is uploading your large image file, because if you want these files to be 6,000 by 6,000. Now I'm getting a prompt here locally from my MetaMask saying, please sign this transaction. So I did. So minting. It's been approved. Now I have to put it on sale. So I have another notification right now from MetaMask saying, do you approve this? Yes, I do. Put it on sale. Boom! And you get confetti. Your Carnival Midway Rubber Lady NFT is successfully created. How fast is that? It will be minted in the blockchain while purchasing or transferring. Let's show off a little. Twitter? I just created Carnival Midway Rubber Lady collectible. Why not? Meow. Send now. Thank you. What about the Facebook? Well, of course. Why wouldn't we? It's a whole new cotton candy world for sale. Maybe this will get me banned. And then I can create another, or I can just view the NFT, which I will view. And this is a giant size, I think it's 6,000 by 6,000, but this is my Polaroid portrait. Isn't it lovely? I just think it's lovely. I can add unlockable content if I want to. There's the price. I can remove it from sale, bids, history, description, latest bids. David Bowles, meow meow, 100%. Don't know what that means, but it's there. Now let's go back to the account. Are we showing? Oh, view the profile. That's what we want to see. There, yes. Verified, yeah. There she is. Fabulous. And while we're at it, we should go to our Discord server. We'll go to Rarible, general chat. There's the old boy. Hello, I'm verified on the website, but I'm not sure if I'm verified here. Am I verified here? Yeah, because you click on the name. Meow, 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 meow. Rolls. Verified with the check mark. Member, Ethereum, Polygon, Solana, Tezos. Yes. Now it's interesting because when there's a special place where you have to go to say, I want to be verified, and you have to put in your website address for Rarible that you're verified. And I went there this morning because all weekend I was not verified yet, although I was on the website on Friday. And then today I go there and it's not there. And that's why I asked the question, because where I applied is they removed it. So I guess once they verify you and they approve you, then you're verified. So I'm so glad that I made it. Well, what a show today. I'm all exhausted from ranting and raving about things I can't control. Hey, welcome to a modern life. Gordon says that is so much better. I'm not sure what Gordon is talking about because I've been looking at things and not paying attention. Oh, I have my first like on my tweet. I have to go check it out. Oop, there's Rarible. And hey, if I can sell on Rarible, because OpenSea doesn't want my money, okay. That's fine with me. Who is the like from? Dre. Fun Dre. Verified. Cool. But I have to say, minting on Rarible is instantaneous, fast, and dare I say fun. Oh, I'm not even showing you what I'm looking at. I'm so sorry. This is what I'm looking at. This is my tweet. Carnival Midway, Rubber Lady, Dre, our friend, liked it. And what about Facebook? Did we make it or did we not make it? Well, I just got another like. Ah, there she is. Looks better on Facebook than it does on Twitter. Just because it's bigger. Very nice. So let me see this. We got another like on this. Oh, we have 2 likes. From Famous. Cool. Another NFT person. So if you have any questions or comments, you can email me, david@bowles.tv. You can find me on Twitter at David Bowles. On Facebook, it's BOLES. And hey, on Discord, where all the fun's happening, you can find us. Thanks for having us. Thank you, Gordon, for being here. Take care and be well. I hope you have a good nap, a good sleep, a good rest, a good meditation, and when ye shall awaken tomorrow or whenever, may your soul be filled with joy and the ease of NFT minting. I'll see you again soon.